What is up, guys? Welcome back to Outback Packs.
I'm Jonah. I'm Jordan. And today we have our very first interview. We've been kind of teasing that we've got some interviews coming, and we have another than Troy from Trike Sports Cards in. Troy, welcome.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. I'm excited for this. It's cool to finally connect.
Yeah, 100%. It all started over a good old Instagram message, and it's jumped into this interview. We're gonna start it off pretty basic, right? Yeah. We want to know how you started in the hobby. Where did this all start for you? For those that don't know, we're going to link Troy's stuff into the description, so go and check out his channel and all the rest of it. But yeah, Troy, how did hobby and collecting start for you?
Yeah, so for me, I had a similar path to most kids in America, and I'm curious to hear eventually what it was like for you guys growing up in Australia. Like, were cards around at all? But for us, like most kids, like we grew up collecting. So I remember when I was young, it was LeBron James rookie year. My parents were like, "Oh, we should try to go get some of his rookie cards." So me and my friend that picked us up from school, we went looking for some LeBron rookie cards, and I was hooked. So that was, for a couple years I was really into it, and then similar story to most, like you get to high school, college, other things start distracting you. So I wasn't into cards the most. And then I was playing pro basketball overseas in the Philippines, as I was telling you guys earlier. So I know what it's like to collect in another country. It's tough. But one of my teammates from college, John Collins, had rookie cards, and I was kind of bored. I was like, "Oh, dude, like I want to get some of his rookie cards." But I was like, if I want to buy something nice, I almost want to I figured out that you can kind of like invest in these players. So I started asking my buddies, I'm like, "Oh, what's the best card to get?" They started explaining to me, okay, there's national treasures, there's graded. Then I'm like, "Oh, wait, could I just grade them myself?" They're like, "Yeah, you could." I started learning all these different things. I'm like, "Oh, this is awesome." So I got his cards, and then I started just making some money almost by accident. And then I just wanted to have a bigger collection. I started spinning, doing more. And here I am a couple years later doing it full time.
Yeah, that is sick, man.
So I guess that's like your story kind of resonates with probably most, right? Like card collecting, I think for most, I did for me, less basketball, but footy cards, right?
Tons of footy cards,
yeah.
AFL cards in Australia.
So you say you shortcutted to now this is full time.
Yeah.
Now, the question is, at what point in your mind did you go, wait, this is actually possible to go full time into cards?
It was kind of weird. I had for most people, I think the transition's a little tougher, right? Because if you have a 9 to 5, first of all, that's something in itself. And also if you have like kids or a mortgage or something like that, then it just makes the transition a lot tougher. I was really lucky where I finished playing basketball, and I kind of knew no matter what, I'm not going to dive right into a 9 to 5. So I kind of got the opportunity just to play around with it for a year. Moving back to the States. And then I kind of thought at that point, I'm like, this is too tough to make a full-time living. So I did get a 9 to 5 job, and I didn't enjoy it. And long story short, my parents actually were like, "Dude, just quit then. Like if you enjoyed this card stuff, you should just go for it." So I quit, and then I went for it. So I guess the short answer would be I guess I never really was sure. I was lucky. I had the luxury where I could just kind of go for it and slowly build myself up. That's the one thing I hear where people are like, "Oh, I want to be full time to go," and maybe they're making $1,000 a month, $500 a month from cards. To go from that to like a full time living is really tough. So I was just kind of lucky where I almost stumbled into it. I just slowly grew, and then it got to a number, and I'm like, "Oh, this is actually not too bad."
Yeah, okay, that's sick. I love that.
Yeah, fair enough. With the starting out, what would you say your biggest challenge was?
Like initially when I started like collecting cards recently, or going full time with it?
Go both. Go to starting first, and then
for collecting, it was just understanding everything. And that's why I kind of started my channel in the first place. I'm like, dang, like I like to think I'm at least somewhat smart. This is complicated, bro. I'm like, wait, you know what I mean? Like I said, even just grading, I'm like, wait, there's different grading companies. Why is this one? He's like, well, BGS is better for patch cards. I'm like, wait, but I thought PSA was the best. And then like National Treasures, I was like, you told me to get a National Treasures auto. This is a National Treasures auto. He's like, oh, that's not the right National Treasures auto though. That's the horizontal, the colossal. I'm like, dude, this is freaking tough. So that was probably the biggest thing. I'm like, I want to make the right decisions, and there's so much to learn. And as you guys can probably relate, like I do soccer cards. And that's like a whole different world. And you guys were saying you're doing AFL cards a little bit, right? Yeah. Like I'm sure the brands are different there, obviously, than like, I don't think they're like Prism cards or anything like that. So that was the other thing too. It's like I'm learning all these different random webs. So that was really tough, just a learning curve. And then with full time, I would say, honestly, it was more of a grind than I thought it would. Like you really just like, the difference between flipping like 5 cards a month to sorting through collections and grade, all that stuff piles up really quickly. It's like, initially I didn't think of a grading submission as that much work, but I'm like, man, when I'm doing hundreds of cards a month, this is a lot of work, traveling to all these different shows. That's the thing. It's like before, when I was doing it, and this is what I warn people with, it was just fun, right? Like I was just, this is cool. I never felt like work, but once you're, like going to a card show is a blast. I love card shows, but when you're going to one every weekend, it started to become a little taxing, But with all that being said, man, like I get to play with cards every day for a living, so it never could be that bad,
It's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
100%. So your channel kind of started out, I guess, similar to ours in the sense of we saw that there's not many or any channels in Australia that kind of go through the pack openings, and that's kind of where it started for us. It's obviously starting to branch out a lot more because we're loving it, and like you said, that initial part is excitement and a lot of joy. So I guess now your YouTube, your socials, you're one of the fastest growing and also leading in the hobby space. How did you channel into kind of the direction you're going to go with, like, because there's breaking, there's card shows, there's dollar bins, there's grading, there's a million things you can cover, right? How did you funnel and decide to kind of go down the track of the way your channel's set up and where you are now?
Yeah, I mean, it's always just been like what I wish I could watch. Even today, when I think about videos, it's like, what's not out there that I wish I could watch, which is why I love what you guys are doing. It's like, there's not enough Australian content creators. Like there is some, but there needs to be more, So when I started, it's like a couple of things. I always give the example. This wasn't even that long ago. This was like 2021. The only people talking about cards were like old dusty guys in their basement being like, this is a Mickey Mantle for 1940. I'm like, damn, this is boring. Or like the exact opposite end of the spectrum where it's like, hustle on, bro, I'm gonna get my money, but like sneaker flippers. I'm like, well, this guy's kind of like annoying. I'm like, can we get somewhere in the middle that can appeal to both? And I was like, that's what I want to watch. So that's kind of the approach I went from it for, where it's like, okay, I'm not talking purely dollars and cents. Like I actually like cards and understand cards, but I'm also not just talking about my dusty old collection that no one really cares about, And then even just other things, soccer cards, like no one was talking about soccer cards. So I wanted to talk about those. And then when I moved back to the States, like a lot of people were doing card show vlogs. But like now I do like a lot of experiments and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, I wish they showed more of the numbers or did little tricks or stuff like that. You know what I mean? So that's the main thing. It's always just been authentically like, what would I actually want to watch? That's what I try to make. Or what would I need education wise? So at the beginning, I was like, it's changed with how my channel has gone. At the beginning, I really wanted and needed a lot of education. So that's kind of the content I was putting out back then.
Yeah. I still remember some of our first breaks where, we'll learn it as well. And there's, like you said, there's different parallels, different inserts, obviously different brands within, and I think education on that is something that we all learn, right? And with Tops taking over, like new license, obviously they've been doing
parallels, new inserts,
so it's refreshed again for basketball, that is obviously, and soon to be NFL. Talk to us a little bit about grading. So here in Australia, like grading is tougher, I would say, again, because you have to ship it out from Australia. The conversion's a little bit rough.
Conversion sucks.
What are some of, I guess, your tips? Obviously now with costing of grading also going up through PSA and everything that's going on with all the companies. Give us a couple of your top recommendations kind of moving into 2026 for grading?
Yeah. Well, one thing really quickly too that came to mind when you guys were talking, like I'm going to give you some unsolicited advice that you didn't even ask for. But like I kind of said before, I think it's awesome that you guys are, like you guys should lean into the Australian thing. Like one thing I've seen is a lot of people when they start out as a content creator, they try to like emulate what they see. They're like, oh, I want to be like Jeff Wilson. I'm going to make Jeff Wilson videos. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's why I love what you guys are doing, like getting that info out there specifically. That's Australian. What's your experience? Even if it's not centered around that, that's what I always tell people, like put your own little spin on it, be different, but actually answering your question, it's just grading is just tougher. For me personally, I'm sending less cards. The easy fix is you kind of just have to start dealing with more expensive cards. Before, like when it only cost $15, I could send $10 cards. You're only into it for like $25. It's like, okay, we can make something work here. Now that it's $25 for you guys, it's probably, and I'm also speaking in American dollars here, so I apologize. But for you guys, like it's going to be at least $30 to grade US, like you're into a card for $40, like that's tough. Even in a PSA 10, those $10 cards are probably only worth like $60. So it just doesn't make sense. So the easy thing is you just have to bump the raw value of the cards you're dealing with. Like when I'm grading cards, I tried for them to be worth, minimum is like $50, but really now it should be like $100. So you just got to narrow your pool, and you have to be really tough on how you're pre-grading them yourself. Like you can't afford a lot of misses. Before, during COVID, like Zion Williamson 9s were worth a bunch. Like I would just send everything. There were very few cards I pulled out. Now I just did a submission that was like out of 100 cards, only about maybe 15 to 20 actually made it to be submitted. So that's a big thing people don't know when they first started. Like you guys ripping boxes, right? I'm like, oh, these are all 10s. I took it and I put it in here. It's a 10.
Yeah.
I haven't done anything to it. Even then, you probably have like a 30% chance of that being a 10, even fresh out of the pack. Yep. So that's the tough thing. You have to get really good at pre-grading, and also the other thing too, you look up. Actually, I'm going to release a video on this tomorrow, so it was a perfect question. Look at the PSA pop report, because PSA gives you the answer to the test. You can look up the certain sets. Like for instance, with American football, the last year of Prism, you have like a 20% chance to get a PSA 10. The odds just aren't in your favor. Versus Tops Now, like the instant ones, you have a 90% chance. So like obviously there's not as much of a premium on the Tops Now, but like I use that a lot where I'm just like certain one of these cards when you just know you're not going to get a 10, I don't even send it in,
Yep, fair. With that in mind, are there any players right now that you are trying to get graded?
Ooh, really, like Messi and Ronaldo are the biggest ones. Like that's my niche, just because they're a really good like intersect. Like the young prospects are always good, but they're so risky. Like I like Lamine Yamal in soccer. American football, we have like Drake May, even like Cooper Flag now. But it's like, oh man, like the prices can change so quickly. So especially that's the other thing with how long grading is taking, especially for you guys. You guys really get screwed. It's not even the price. It's if you send out a Cooper Flag card now, it's going to be the end of his second season by the time you get it back.
Literally.
Yeah. Yeah. He's going to be playing in the Australian League by the time you get the card back. But yeah, so that kind of makes it tough. So yeah, Messi and Ronaldo, they're timeless though. That's why they're hot cards right now, but they're also timeless. Really, my particular niche is I like to do the stuff that also has big premiums if you get a 10. Like the legendary sets. Like I forgive me if I keep talking about soccer, but like Topps Chrome 2017, like it might be a $20 card raw, but in a 10 it's $200. Like those are the kind of opportunities I like to find. Versus, like I said, a Cooper Flag, everyone is doing it. So it's really tough to get a proper margin there. Most of the time it's only like 2x raw. It's not really worth your while too much.
I think the soccer is very relevant for this year, especially like here in Australia as well, right? The World Cup's coming up, Australia's in it, and obviously just the hype around the hobby and cards in general. I think soccer's going to have a massive year. So for you, that's obviously a great opportunity. Kind of looking into thinking World Cup, thinking kind of the hobby for this year, give us a couple of thoughts on, I guess, predictions or thoughts on where the hobby is going to go soccer wise, and then I guess maybe just as a whole for 2026.
Yeah. Well, first of all, the U.S. is obviously going to destroy the Socceroos. Like, it's not even going to be
We are in the same
we're in the same group, right? I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
So obviously that's going to be a blowout. No, but yeah, I mean, I think the hope is there'll be more interest around soccer. You have to be careful because unfortunately, like, so much is manipulated and pumped and dumped nowadays. Like, everyone, like, I always say, when everyone is thinking one thing, you probably want to do something else. Like, everyone is like, okay, World Cup, I'm going to sell it. I'm going to buy and sell at the World Cup. I'm going to buy and sell at the World Cup. So that kind of worries me a little bit price wise, but it'll be good for the hobby. And I think more importantly, though, what I think about is it's going to create long-term collectors, because that's really the strength of the hobby, right? I don't think about the annoying dealer who's going to try to make like $20 off a Messi card. Like, that's not going to shift the hobby. It's about the kid who's 13 and sees Messi play at home in America, or the young Australian kid who sees his team play at the World Cup. And then, 5 years from now, he's a soccer fan and he wants to get into the hobby and he wants to collect soccer cards. Like, that's really what I'm looking forward to and is most important for me. I'm not too caught up in like, this one tournament is going to make or break my collection's value or stuff like that. I just want it to be a good tournament and people get exposed to soccer cards, and then they genuinely stick around because they like it.
Yeah. I think that longevity is obviously how the hobby grows. People will always be in it for, flipping and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
But, the long term is. Yeah.
For sure. And I hate to interject, and part of the reason, like, I really want to get out to Australia to go to a show and stuff, and I am so bullish about what you guys are doing and what the hobby can do over there, is because it is an awesome hobby, though. Like, you guys know, like, once you get into it, it's addicting. Yeah. Like, people just don't know about it, especially in like other countries. Like, when I was first going to the UK back in like 2021, the show was in like one little room. No one there had heard of cards. There was no marketing. There was none of any of this stuff. And fast forward now, the hobby's booming over there. And I'm hopeful it'll be the same thing in Australia, because like you said, like, that longevity, I genuinely do think when people get exposed to it, especially in the right way, they fall in love because it's a great hobby.
Yeah, it's definitely grown in the past year, almost exponentially in Australia. Yeah. So hopefully it keeps up.
You got to look out for the Oz National show. It's in October.
September. Yes, at the end of this year.
At the end of this year. So it's happening for the second time this year, and they've already expanded. They're opening 2 rooms now. And so it's starting to definitely happen. But talking about shows a little bit, it's something that in Australia, we probably have 3 or 4 big shows a year, but then there's a dozen or so smaller shows that are half decent.
Yeah.
Show experience for you in America, what does that look like? You said it's obviously it's work for you, it's content, it's selling, it's buying. There's obviously a purpose for going. But what does a show typically look for you when you head to one?
Ooh, it depends. So, like I said, I'm kind of addicted. So even when I'm not, like, I just go to this, kind of similar to you guys. There's like the shows in San Francisco for the most part are small. They're not like super big, but even on my off, like, I just go whenever there's a show. I like to go and just kind of poke around. So if I'm doing a local one, it's almost like fishing for me. That's how I explain it to people. That's why I love like the dollar box. I'll just go on a Saturday morning and I'm just digging through a $1 box, chilling, finding. I'll end up spending like $50 on cards, which I know is a lot, but like most of these big YouTubers, like, people are like, oh, I'm spending 10K on cards. When it's just me for fun, I just like doing the really calm stuff. But when I go to a show, it's definitely like content first. That's what I go in. I have it scripted out, not scripted, but like I have an outline of what I want to do. So I go in there, I try to knock that out. And then if I have extra time, then I try to kind of just poke around, see if there's any good deals, stuff like that. But unfortunately, it's probably not super relatable to most people watching, but like when I go to shows now, it's like I'm really focused on getting the content, because that's really like a big part of my business now.
Yeah, that makes sense. For your dollar bins, what do you look for the most?
Ooh, it's weird. I've tried to like so many times I've tried to put it into words. It's tough because it's an experience thing, you know. You're looking for things that are different. I would say there's a few things like when I'm digging through, like I know older cards are going to get left behind in there. So like I'm doing a series, if people don't know, I'm trying to turn $1 into $10,000. And I made a really good flip where I got a card for $4 and it sold for 81. And that was a 2006 Topps Chrome basketball Mike James gold card. And for most people are like, even me, I actually don't know who Mike James is. Like, that's why that card was in that box. It's like, no one cares about this dude. But I knew that there's really passionate collectors who just want all the golds from older Topps Chrome sets. Yeah. So I'm like, those are the type of cards that'll slip through the cracks. So I'm looking for older, like lower numbered cards and rare of collectible sets and stuff like that. Hot prospects who have recently kind of went up. I'm trying to think of an example. Like in baseball in America, there was a guy named Pete Crow Armstrong for a while, Cal Raleigh, like people who were overlooked. And so people throw, like, that's the thing. When dealers put those cards in the dollar bins, they don't get taken out. So if they're not a top rookie, no matter what the sport, they're just going to sit in there. So if a late round draft pick starts popping off, then I'm like, I know I'm going to find some of his. So those are probably the main things I look for.
We've had a little bit of luck recently with similar type vibe for basketball with Danny Avdia for Portland.
That's a perfect example.
You know, his cards were pretty dead up until about 6 months ago, or the start of this season, probably less. And you know, it's like you said, it's a hobby. So for us, I'm a Portland fan, so I was kind of keeping track and like buying those cards, and then suddenly, you know, most improved conversation, all-star conversation, and everything goes up. And for us, we're in the position we kind of got to bite a flip a little bit, because we haven't started out with a lot of money, and it's kind of, we want to grow the channel. We want to kind of also share the experience of how to potentially make it work from not much. I guess it's looking at those trends. And here in Australia, I guess you spoke about the fact that you were in the Philippines and collected a little bit for us. So tell us a little bit about that experience compared to what it was like, obviously, when you got back home, because I think that's a good thing for us to hear a little bit from here in Australia.
Yeah. So the biggest thing that comes to mind initially is like how high people were on prices. You know, like in the US, it was like people were, especially at the time, 80%, people were happy to take 80% of comps. But in the Philippines, people were like, well, I actually paid 140% of comps with taxes and duties and shipping and everything. So I would offer them 100% of comps and they'd be like, no. I'm like, are you crazy? Like, what's going on? So that was a really tough thing for me. I thought I would be able to, and I don't know how it is, and it might have even changed there now, but like I didn't do a lot of buying in the actual country. That was really tough for me. And I mean, I was really lucky. I was in a special position where like I had one of my buddies in the US helping me out. So he was kind of handling most of my card operation was still happening from the US, but I definitely had to be a lot more selective with how I did things. You know, like a lot of it had to be online. Like here in the US, I'll have a box shipped to me. I can sort through, I can put my hands on cards all the time. When I was in the Philippines, I had to get really good at like, you know, one of the skills I have is I'm pretty good at going through eBay listings and being able to tell what raw cards are maybe worth grading. You know, like you learn little things like just you go to the guy's profile. If he already has a bunch of PSA graded cards, he's probably great. He's a grader. So his raw cards probably aren't worth grading. So I learned to be resourceful. At the time, I was using a website called StarStock where you could buy and sell cards all digitally. It's like Comps. Do you guys know ComC?
ComC? No.
So yeah, so it was based. They're both. It's like an online website, and all the cards are held in a warehouse, and you can buy and sell all without ever shipping. So like at the time, especially when the market was super hot, I was buying like Rui Hachimura cards for $2. I would buy like 10 of them. They'll go up to $3. I would sell it for $3. That, you know, you made $10, and you just like the stock market, like Bitcoin. So I just kind of found a way to be resourceful that way. But yeah, it was definitely different.
Yeah, no, that's definitely relevant here in Australia. Like the 80% of comms or anything like that is very, very tough because again, we got to pay, you know, when you're buying from the US, you got to pay shipping, you got to pay taxes, even if you're opening boxes. Yeah. So it is definitely tighter. I wouldn't say it's like
might be quite as high as 140.
No, but 100% is kind of, you're happy if you get under that for sure. And it's something we're learning. We've learned the hard way and we've had some wins as well. But
there's also opportunity with that though too. Like I've said, like here, like it's so easy for us to sell stuff, but like let's say like over there someone has a Denny Abdia card that's worth, you know, $20. Like they can't just easily get liquid on that. It's hard for them to sell it. They can't just send it to eBay consignment so easily too. So you're going to end up finding more of those deals sitting in value boxes or buying collections or stuff like that. So that's the other thing I've always thought about. I was like, obviously I wouldn't have as much available to me if I was not in the US, but I think there actually would be some deals because of all the headaches and obstacles that you guys have to deal with. If you're willing to grind a little bit, you can actually find some great opportunities.
Yeah. And obviously also knowing the hobby, I think in Australia has helped us like diving in, like you said, and picking up those players that are starting to boom where certain people haven't picked them up yet. So, it's something we're trying to take advantage of, but also learn and be, I guess. And that's something that I guess you could probably answer us a little bit. Being okay with mistakes, because I think a lot of people in the hobby, if they're new to the hobby, it can potentially turn them away from the hobby a little bit. How do you deal with, I guess, adversity, mistakes, things like that?
Yeah, I mean, just knowing that it's part of it too. Like I always try to make a point of it on my channel and stuff to show the mistakes, because I think a lot of people get in and they look at what's on YouTube, what's on Instagram. It's all a highlight reel, right? They're like, oh, no one else makes mistakes. I must be a big idiot. That's why I'm doing this. It's like, no, especially even now, even at the professional dealer level, these guys make so many mistakes. They just don't show it, right? But especially all of us, when we got in, we did stupid stuff. Like, I can't even, we would be here forever. Like I've bought $1,000 cards that are worth $1 now. Like that happened. You know, we make big mistakes. And for me too, the only way to learn is to make those mistakes. So definitely don't be too hard on yourself. And this is kind of niche here, but if you really want to get into it full-time business-wise, something that I'm trying to repeat to myself is, you know, I would be better served. Before, I'm a super risk-conscious guy. So I was like, I don't want to ever lose money. I don't want to make any mistakes. But if I make 3 additional mistakes, but that leads me to 10 more wins, it's going to end up being better financially for me. And I want to be very careful with that, especially for people who are new. When you're new, don't take too many risks. Go slowly. That's what I tell people. That's why I say start with the dollar bins, because you can afford to make mistakes there. You know, that's the thing. Yeah, like I said, it's just part of it. No one's perfect. And for the majority of people watching this too, like it is a hobby. So you're supposed to have fun with it. And I like to think most people are smart enough where they're not going to be making $10,000 mistakes. You know, if you buy like you're a Trailblazers fan, maybe you buy Denny Abdia now, and you know what? Maybe his prices go down because he doesn't continue this trajectory. That's okay. That's fine. Like it's okay to have a little fun with it and not to win on every single purchase.
Yeah. No, I think that's great advice.
Yeah.
Can we get a little insight on what you would think your biggest mistake in the hobby would be?
Oh, biggest mistake. Well, you know, it's funny. I would have had a really specific answer. During COVID, I got swept up into the hype and I bought a Messi rookie card because I looked at the chart and it was just going like this. And I was like, oh my God, it went from 5,000 to 20,000. If I buy it now at 20,000 in a couple of months, it's going to be worth 40,000. But little do you know, I bought it at like 20,000 and that was like the all-time high. And I think it got all the way down to like 2,000 or 3,000. And I was like, wow, that's a pretty big, like, I don't want to say life altering, but like, that's a big mistake. I was lucky enough where it now came all the way back up and it got to 20K and I said, I'm out. I'm even. I sold it. We're good. So I got really lucky there. But that was my biggest mistake. I bought a few other like Kevin Durant, Topps Chrome base and stuff like that. My biggest mistake was assuming that growth would continue. I would just look at the chart and I'm like, oh, if it went like this, then it's just going to continue like this. That's not how sports cards work. So that was probably my biggest mistake, just assuming that if a card's going up, it's just going to continue going up forever, you know?
That's probably some of the most relevant advice for everyone today. So anyone listening right now, like the market right now is on a heater, right? It's hot and it's only going to last this long for a time, right?
Yeah.
And hopefully it continues to grow. You know, it might do down, but eventually go back up. Like you said, your Messi card has reached back to that point where you bought it at. But right now we're seeing numbers that we haven't seen probably since COVID, really.
For sure. And I'm sure, you know, maybe relevant to you guys in your audience, like people opening up a lot of new product. What people don't know when they first get into it is like, outside of one or two players, this is the most expensive their cards are ever going to be. Like even, you know, people, even like I said, I don't know why I'm being so mean to Cooper Flag right now, but it's like he becomes, if he, this is going to be shocking to people. He could become a 6-time All-Star. His cards are going to be worth less than they are now. You know, like people don't understand. Like you look at James Harden, Russell Westbrook. These are incredible players. Draymond Green, Klay Thompson, like these guys I love of Warriors, their cards are not worth that much money. That's the tough thing. Like unless you really get to that superstar level, it's only a few people. Like, you know, SGA has gone up. Luka has obviously gone up from his rookie year. Once in a while, you get really lucky with like a Giannis or something like that. But for every one of those three, there's a guy that just absolutely craters. So that's another misconception. People are like, oh, I'm going to buy Con Knuckle, he's doing well, like I'm getting in early. And it's like, no, you're actually not getting in early. Like it's he's expensive right now. That's not to say you can't make money on him. Maybe if he really just keeps going, he has a great career, but you have to be really careful.
Yeah, that makes sense. With that in mind, Cooper Flag prediction. You've been a bit down on him today. For him as a card valuation in mind.
Well, yeah, the funny thing is I actually really like his game. Like I think he's going to be maybe our best player at the 2028 Olympics for the U.S. Like I think he's going to have an incredible career. I really like his game, but it's the same thing. Like, I mean, all you have to do is look at Wemby. Like Wemby is unreal. He is his card prices have gone down, you know, since probably the peak there. So that's my prediction. If I had to guess, I think that Cooper Flag will have a great career, but at a certain point, he's not going to be the shiny new toy anymore. So that's what I feel really confident in. His chart will not just look like this. There will be a down, and I kind of do believe in him, and maybe I'll buy some there, but it's not just going to go up forever. Like it's just so overheated right now. And they're printing so many sets. That's the other thing too. It's just supply and demand. Not all his autos have come out yet. So you gotta wait for all that.
And look, when the US comes second to Australia in the 28 Olympics, it's going to be rough for his card prices. You know?
Well, actually, I don't know if we've talked about this. Do you guys remember the Philippines-Australia fight?
Yes.
Do you know that I was a part of that?
Really? Tell us more, please.
You're going to have to look this up. Well, I sound a little bit like a D-bag now because I'm bringing it up about myself, but basically, for people who don't know, there was a huge brawl between the Philippines and Australia in the Philippines for a FIBA basketball qualifying game. People were throwing chairs. It was like a WWE match. Yeah. But my picture was the front page of like the online. It was me standing over an Australian player, and then the quote said like Filipino player like attacks Australian. And I wasn't trying to be like a saint or anything, but I was like, nah, this is BS. Like I wasn't doing this. I was really standing over him because, you know, what happens on the court, what happens on the field, like that's between two players, right? Like whatever. But it's like fans were getting involved. I'm like, no, we're not doing that. Like you guys aren't about to beat up my fellow. So I just stood over him to get people off him. And then it was Chris Golden. I don't know if you know him, but yeah. It turned into a big national news story. So I actually have some love in Australia, believe it or not. That's another reason I want to get out there.
That's pretty awesome to hear. And I was actually going to ask you a little bit about your basketball background. So you grew up playing basketball. You played D1 as college at Wake Forest. Is that right?
Yep, correct.
Did I get that right? Yeah. So, and then you played in the Philippines. Tell us a little bit about, like, obviously this is not just cards, but like get to know you a little bit more. What was that experience like? And obviously that probably helped you get into the hobby as well.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it was great. Like I always, I never thought I was an all right basketball player. I never thought I was going to the NBA or something like that. So to get the opportunity to still play pro basketball in the Philippines was amazing. It helped me avoid the real world for a little bit. I got to represent the Filipino national team. That was always like my big dream. I really wanted to do that. So that was cool to be a part of that. And I'm always be happy. I don't know what to say besides it was just awesome. I loved it. It was the dream, and it was the perfect. Without that too, I definitely wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now. It's because I had so much time on my hands that I got really involved with the hobby. And I think that's why you're seeing a lot of professional athletes are getting into the hobby, which I think is great because most of us love sports. Like you have a little bit more free time on your hands. Like, I don't know. I just think it's really cool.
That is cool. And the final question on the basketball thing is: do you still put on the shoes and go and play a little bit, or is that?
I play all the time. That's the funny thing too. Like I just love it. It's funny. Weird. Some of my teammates and stuff like that, they're like, I'm never playing again. I'm like, dude, I love basketball. And that's kind of the good thing too. I think because I left so early, like I still, like they said, what do they say? Like leave the game before the game leaves you. Like I didn't hate basketball when I left. I left before it became like this job that I hated. So now I play all the time and I still just love it.
That's cool. Well, when you get to Australia, we'll have to tee something up. So
definitely. Well, I was going to ask, are you guys going to go to the Aussie National this year?
We're going to have a stand. It's going to be our first show.
Really? Okay. All right. Now I might have to. I've been meaning to go. I talked with some of the guys out there. I've been meaning to go. So hopefully, October I might be able to make it happen. So that would be cool. We can hoop. We can make something happen.
Definitely let us know. We're again, I guess, part of our journey is we want this to work. We want to make this work for content wise for YouTube. We got an awesome community started on Whatnot as well, which has really helped us with being able to make a little bit of money and continue that journey. And shows is kind of the next thing. And I think the more people have stands and the more content there is around it, the bigger the shows are going to get and the more shows are going to happen. So we have no idea what we're doing. And I guess that's probably a good question for you. Give us some tips and anyone who's looking at maybe having a stall for the first time or maybe they've done it for a little bit, but still trying to work out what works best. Have you had a stall at shows? What's kind of your go-to thing to do?
Man, there's so many. I've set up a lot of times, so there's a bunch of different tips. I mean, it depends how you look on it. The first one that comes to mind is don't be confident and don't be bullied into doing anything you don't want to do. Like, I think you should be nice when you first set up, right? Everyone's really excited. They're like, you want to make every customer so happy, right? So I like a lot of times people would do like trades, and I'd be like, after I did it, I'm like, wait, I didn't really want to do that trade. Like they'd be like, if I had a $100 card, they'd offer me two $50 cards. And I'd be like, well, I guess that's fair. Fair is fair, 100 for 100. But I'm like, wait, I didn't want to do that though. Like I liked what I had better. So that'd be the big thing. Be confident. Obviously don't be an a-hole. Don't try to rip everyone off. But like, you do have to be a little bit business minded. It's different when you're actually going through the trouble and giving up your whole day and paying money to have a table. The other thing, I mean, for you guys specifically, I think a lot about, like, take it as an opportunity to build community, like it's not necessarily like when I think about you guys, it's probably not about how much, don't put too much stock into like, it's my first show. Here's how much I have to make, it's about you meet people, you'll put faces to names that helps you build your Whatnot community. And then the money and stuff will take care of itself. Like I would say for most people for your first show, just have fun with it. Enjoy, like, don't put too much pressure on the dollars and cents. Only other tip I would say in general is you definitely have to have like a curated inventory. You got to have the right stuff. You have to have stuff that'll catch people's eye. And just a simple one, but put price stickers on your cards. Like that's something everyone should be doing.
Makes sense, really.
Yeah.
So for you, obviously, we've got to know you a bit through this interview, which has been awesome, and I hope everyone listening in has enjoyed that. What is your PC? What do you collect? I mean, I know the answer because I've watched some of your content. No, but for the audience, what do you collect? What are you kind of looking to grab in the future?
Yeah, I mean, my main PCs are like I kind of mentioned earlier, John Collins, my teammate from Wake Forest. Like that's really what got me into collecting. So I'm always collecting his rare cards. Anything Wake Forest in general. People probably can't see the actual cards, but that's my PC back there. I have it hung up. And the cool thing too, I always try to point out to people is like everyone always sees on YouTube. It's like, oh, I made a $10,000 deal. I did this, and that. That whole thing back there cost me probably like $1,000, which to be clear is a lot of money. But it's like I got all my grails. Those are like 101s and all these awesome Wake Forest cards. Like you can build your way up to that. So I always want to point that out to people. But yeah, Wake Forest, John Collins, and then I'm a Barcelona fan, so I try to pick up some of those guys. And then also the nice thing is now I've been able to make some friends through the hobby, like professional athletes and stuff like that. So I try to collect some of their cards, which has been pretty cool.
That's cool. That is very cool.
Sweet. Well, what about you guys? I got to send it back. What do you guys collect?
My favorite has to be Derek Roy's cards.
Oh,
I know he's out of the league now, but that's who I fell in love with the game watching. So Derek Roy's for sure.
For me, it is Damian Lillard. I'm like the biggest Dame fan when he was in college and now. And then I do slightly collect Josh Allen as well because I'm a big NFL sport. Well, we're both all sports, but I've started to collect a little bit of Josh Allen, and I think I got in at an okay time prior to the little thing. So anyway, a bit of Josh Allen.
Nice. Well, and I do have one other question too. I've heard that with AFL cards, you can actually kind of prospect on those guys. Like there's price movements based on their performance and stuff like that. Have you guys seen that at all, or am I making that up?
No, there definitely is. So
really?
Obviously the rookies or the DPS, the debut player signatures and stuff are grail cards for a lot of people and they're worth more. But even more so, the non-rookie cards in AFL for the big players seem to have more of a premium than in like basketball and NFL and stuff like that.
The AFL card hobby, I guess, there's only a few manufacturers as well. And so there's like, it's very clear, like a national treasure, put it in basketball and NFL terms and baseball, you know, like there's not a flawless, there's not a photogenic, or there's not other ones to compare. It's kind of just one premier and then a couple in the middle and then a couple base. So it's also a little bit clearer on the tiers, which makes it definitely a little bit easier to know that way. And then also I would say the top tier collectors in AFL is starting to grow as well. So if you've been collecting or are starting that collection, it's kind of a good time to buy those established stars or project, because kind of like baseball, it takes a couple of years for the rookies to actually start playing, you know. So even the number one draft pick, he might play every game for the season, but he's not, you know, a star.
Do you guys have like developmental teams or stuff like that out there? Because that was weird. I heard someone was talking, they were like, they're not even in the main team or they're on loan or something. Like there's a bunch of, so I'm gonna try to learn. And when I went to Canada, I always try to like buy something like kind of like learn about the national sport. So when I went to Canada, I looked for some advice and I got a Jack Hughes card. So I don't know if anyone watching this knows hockey, but he just had the game-winning goal for the U.S. in the Olympics. So that was a pretty lucky pick that I got. So when I come to the Aussie National, where I'm going to have to get an AFL prospect and then see how that goes for me.
100%. Yeah, 100%. Cool. It's cool, and it's good to see it start to grow, because I guess the hobby up until somewhat recently has been more your international sports. Like footy's been around. There's been footy cards around for a long time, and there's definitely some ones that are collected. But just because there's not as many around and many producers, like But it's starting to heat up. You see it on Whatnot a lot more, sellers of footy cards, which is normally also a good sign there. Even just Whatnot in general in Australia, there's so many more people on the platform, and that growth has been, for us, kind of indicated that this is happening as well. Not just the shows are growing and there's more things happening, but that I think is a good sign.
Especially
in Yeah. No, I think it's just the beginning.
Yeah, that's right. Do you have any questions for us? I guess the audience might not care, but because you're the main person. But do you have any questions for us?
No, I mean, that was the main thing. Like, it was cool getting to talk to you guys. I'm glad I kind of have an idea of what you guys collect, learn a little bit about the scene out there. I think the main thing is, like I said, I got to get out there to actually experience it. And now I'm excited. It feels like I have like 2 friends out there in the community. So that'll be fun.
100%. So, like I said, we're going to tag all your stuff, but just quickly let the people know where to check out your material and your stuff.
Yeah, YouTube, Trike Sports Cards, Instagram at Trike Cards, TikTok I think is also at Trike Cards. Subscribe. I do a lot of different type of content. If I had to plug anything, the 1 to 10,000 challenge is fun on Instagram. So you guys are going to want to follow along for that and see where we get.
100%. And shout out to your background. I know you put a lot of time into the PC and the thing, and I watched the video. It looks good, man. And we both really appreciate you jumping on for us. Was there anything else?
I think that's it. Just massive thank you. Yeah, it has been awesome.
Yeah, of course, man. Yeah, thanks for having me on. We'll have to do it again sometime, or at the very least link up in person.
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah. For all our viewers, guys, thank you for tuning in. We're hoping to have a couple more interviews coming up, but this one has been incredible. Thank you, Troy, and go and check out his channels, and we'll be back with you guys soon. See ya.
Peace.